My name is Crystal and you're watching the D-Slob Student. I hope I'm not being delusional. And I'm just gonna say this in my full, honest transparency. I don't want to live in my fears anymore. And I don't want to live in fantasy either. I want to live in what is truth. I want to accept truth. I don't want to think of things as extremes. So if I'm living in my fantasy, I might say something like, me and Jim are getting along so well, and he's saying all the right things, and he's being such a wonderful husband, and I believe him entirely that he wants to do better, and will do better, and is going to do better. And everything's going to be A-okay. You see how fake and... fantasy isn't real. That isn't real. It may be what you want, but it isn't real. I don't want to live in my fantasy, okay? But I do want to put positivity out there into the universe. I don't want to put negativity in the universe. When you feed negativity, you just attract more negativity. When you feed positivity, you attract more positivity. So it's this balance trying to figure stuff out, right? So, okay, fine. I'm not going to kid myself or live in this fairy tale land delusional thing that me and Jim are working out perfectly, because no, we've got a lot of work to do. And there's this saying that if your relationship is a lot of work, it's not worth it. And I'm like, is it though? Is that true? Maybe it's worth it to some people who put a lot of work. Maybe they want it to feel like work. Maybe it's just to each their own. Maybe having 2 children in a marriage and you want to show them what repair could look like. Maybe that type of work. I don't think there's anything wrong with working towards a healthy relationship if both partners can agree to it. So I'm gonna head to the grocery store right now. I just finished up my CODA meeting. I want to say one more thing about this fantasy versus fear thing. If I lived in my fear right now, if I was in my fear right now, I'd be like, oh, heck no. Jim might be saying all the right things, but he's never going to change. And he's never going to be any different. And he's never going to try harder. Like, he's just giving me a bunch of baloney. I could say all kinds of things based in my fears. He could be saying things based in my fears. He could be saying things like, oh, she's just going to leave again, and stuff like that. So, I hope I'm not kidding myself or putting myself in fear land or fantasy land. I want to live in what is truth land. And what is going on with me right now is, no, this is not a cleaning video. No, this is not a video where you get to learn anything about decluttering or deslobification. I'm not here to talk to you about that. I am in a transition mode right now where I am trying to figure out what I want for my future, and every moment I get to have that conversation with myself, I'd like to take it. I'd like to get some clarity from it. I'd like to marinate in it and really soak up the juices from that heart-to-heart conversation that I'm having with myself, which is why I'm doing these video journals. And if I choose to share this with you, it's because I am learning how to love myself unapologetically. I'm learning how to be unapologetically Crystal. I'm learning how to be authentic. I'm learning how to be authentic. And I don't need the approval of others to make myself feel better. I don't need all these likes. I don't need all these subscribers. I don't need people to comment and whatnot, but I do welcome it, because it would be interesting to know there are people out there that understand what I'm trying to say to myself in my vlogs and my video journals and whatnot, or even the things that I type. Is anybody there? Is anybody listening? I know I get a couple comments here and there, and I so appreciate that. But I don't think I appeal to the masses, and that's okay. I'm not here to. I'm not here to get the monetization. I'm not here to get all the outer approval. I'm learning I don't need it. So here I am at the grocery store. I'm about to share a really long video with you. I just filmed it driving home. I'm calling my mom's house home now. That's interesting. Today is March 15th, 2022. I just finished my CODA meeting, and I'm going to share with you the information that I shared in my CODA meeting. And you probably already know what that information is if you watched the last video. By the time you watch this, I hope I'm at a better decision. I hope I'm there. I hope I'm closer, or maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm still back and forth. Maybe I'm still spinning on my merry-go-round. But in any case, thank you so much for watching. Let's watch the video.
Hi, my name is Crystal, and I'm codependent. Hi, Crystal. I was going to read something, but before I read it, I figured I'd just do a quick overview real quick. Every day after work, I wander, and I don't know what to do with myself, because I don't know if I'm supposed to go to my mom's house, or if I'm supposed to go see my kids with my husband at the house. I'm in between and in transition, and I'm not really sure what to do with myself. And so I often call my husband and I ask him what he thinks I should do. I ask him to make decisions for me, because I don't know what the heck I'm doing. And I know better, but I don't know what to do. And so he says, in his wisdom that he's learned over the last year, I'm not doing that. Nope. I know that's what I got blamed for, was trying to control you, trying to tell you what to do. And in all honesty, as I take inventory of myself, he only became controlling because I allowed him to be. I asked him for that direction when I was 24. I wanted him to tell me what to do. The thing I was going to read was mainly about, ever since I met him, I thought him telling me what to do would be the peace. It would make the house peaceful. It would keep the peace. I felt really inspired to write this, and I was just going to read it. I like to journal on my Facebook page, but I have very few friends that really get it and understand it. So a lot of people just keep scrolling because it's way too much to read, and that's okay. I'm not really doing it for them. This is just where I put it. So I start off with saying, let me pause to say a couple thank yous. Thank you for those who take the time to read. Thank you to those who choose to support me during this transition. If you don't mind, I'm going to continue some thoughts here, like a journal. Feel free to scroll past, or you can read about my clarity if you want to. Either way, thank you for being you, whatever that looks like. I am not done with my 3-month commitment yet. I committed 3 months to live with my mom, to give myself time to think, a safe space to decide. I rushed into a committed relationship with my husband once before, and it fell apart because my foundation of who I wasn't solidified yet. I met him when I was 24, August 14th, 2005, and I was moved in with him within 2 weeks. I'm sorry, but that's just way too soon. If we are building a house, metaphorically, we need time to pour the foundation, let it cure, get firm and strong for the bones that are yet to come. But we didn't create a foundation when we first met. We threw our lives together and trusted that it would all work out. I shouldn't have moved in with him so quickly. I was young, impressionable, and still discovering who I was. I only did it because I was feeling desperate. I leaned on his love and words to give me that sense of self. If he wasn't giving me that outer approval of me, I didn't approve of myself. So I studied his opinions closely. I created a set of rules and expectations that I thought would make him love me. I wasn't rooted in Crystal's sense of self. I was rooted in who I thought he wanted me to be. I did this because I was afraid of his rejection. I was afraid he would be angry, or worse, ignore me, or maybe even abandon me. Yep, my fears was giving power to the merry-go-round that I was on, always blaming him for putting me on the merry-go-round. But it was I who was the source of its energy. For 15 years, I did my best to figure my shit out. While I was living with him, if I'm being honest, I didn't let him discover who I truly was. All I did was try to become the Crystal I thought he'd accept. I basically was a chameleon, an actor, a fake. If I dare showed my true self, he wouldn't have known it because I would deny my true self and switch right back. I'd feared who I was so deeply, I lost connection to it. I couldn't be honest with myself daily, let alone him. So because I wasn't authentic to him about who I truly was, it shook our wobbly foundation and triggered his insecurities. He feared that I might switch away from him and eventually leave him. Daily, he thought this. The crazy thing is I don't blame him. I feared his abandonment, and he feared mine. Therefore, my sense of self was based in these fears. I had to take this time out to discover the truth about who I am and what I want. I have discovered that I want to be with him, but not the fear-based husband who has his fears and rejections about abandonment too, but the husband that knows that he loves me, and he knows that I love him, and that he can trust me just as much as I can trust him. I didn't discover this truth until I left him. We had to crumble our foundation to start over rebuilding. Now that I have been spending a lot of time with him and my children, I get to rediscover who we are authentically, without fear. Who are we if we choose not to live in fear? But for now, I will still choose to live with my mom, at least until my 3-month commitment to myself is complete. As I move closer into a reentry plan, we are still repairing, communicating, listening to each other. We continue to grow as we practice not blaming. We are not pointing the finger at each other. We are now owning our own behaviors. We are also learning that we are not in charge of each other's moods, including the outcomes of each other's feelings. We are not two halves making a whole. We get to be two people choosing to make a family work. We are not going to be responsible for each other's happiness anymore. We get to be present, and we get to be our best selves and present this best selves to the relationship and see what happens. I am hopeful that I will be ready to move back in with my family soon, but I will take this time to ease into this big decision instead of rushing like I did the last time. I know I don't make sense half of the time, and I'm constantly on the merry-go-round, but God is helping me through this with love, not fear. So thank you to those who support me unconditionally. I appreciate you. That's it. Thank you for letting me talk.
Was that long or what? Let's just say what. Because what the heck am I doing sharing all this personal information with everybody? I don't know. And I don't really know why I do it. And I've been doing it for so long that I'm completely lost sight on whether it's right or wrong anymore. I just do it. But maybe it is wrong that I share this much. Maybe it is wrong and people that are watching and don't say anything are just being kind. But maybe in a kind way you can tell me it's wrong. Or maybe in a kind way you can tell me that you got something from listening to my 12-step share. We call it a share because I shared. There's no crosstalk, so no one said anything. There's no feedback, so nobody gave me any advice or pat on the back or kudos. I just am searching for this answer within myself, and sometimes I share to get it off my chest, to get it out of my head, to make me feel more solid within myself. So I feel okay with that. That's enough for me. Alright, I'm gonna go inside and get some stuff from the grocery store. I will talk to you later. Bye.